0623 hours, Western Pacific International Waters, 90 nautical miles east of the Philippines. The sea was calm, but the air was crowded. A U.S. carrier strike group held steady formation beneath a pale morning sky. Fighters cycled from the deck. Early warning aircraft traced wide arcs overhead. Destroyers formed a protective ring, radars sweeping the horizon with metronomic precision. Routine presence, routine deterrence, until the warning tone cut through the calm. Fast mover, bearing 085, descending. The Combat Information Center snapped to attention. Speed? High subsonic, no transponder, no IFF. The tactical action officer leaned forward. Classify. The analyst's voice tightened. PLA Air Force. Fighter profile. 0626 hours. The contact sharpens. Multiple sensors fuse the track. Altitude, dropping fast speed, increasing aspect, directed toward the outer screen, not an intercept angle, an attack pass. The carrier's captain entered the CIC, eyes on the plot. Distance, 35 miles and closing. Intent? The room hesitated. Then the analyst said it out loud. Sir, it's shaping for a bow-on high-speed run. 0629 hours. Scramble. Launch the cap. On deck, engines screamed as F/A-18E Super Hornets leapt skyward, climbing hard. Overhead, a Growler adjusted orbit, electronic warfare suites warming up, but the Chinese fighter was already accelerating. Its radar remained silent, its nose dipped, its vector tightened. Someone whispered, he's committed. 0631 hours. Visual confirmation. The lead U.S. fighter pilot spoke calmly. Control. Tally 1. Single Chinese fighter. High speed. Very aggressive. The jet flashed into view, sleek, angular, painted gray. No attempt to slow, no radio call, no warning. The pilot added, this isn't a show pass. 0633 hours. The pass. The Chinese fighter knifed through the formation corridor at blistering speed, so close the shockwave rattled antennas and shook decks. Wind tore across the carrier's island. Loose gears skidded. Warning alarms flared, not from impact, but from proximity and wake turbulence. The captain clenched his jaw. That was an attack profile, he said flatly. No one disagreed. 0635 hours. After the shock, the Chinese jet climbed sharply, banking away, not retreating, just resetting. Its flight path curved wide, arcing for another run. Inside the CIC, the legal advisor spoke. Sir, that maneuver meets hostile intent criteria. The captain looked at the track. Confirm weapons? No visible launch, the analyst replied, but the pass was within engagement distance. The captain nodded once. Log it. 0638 hours. The second move. The Chinese fighter didn't leave. It slowed just enough to reposition, then rolled back in, aligning on the escort destroyer this time. Another high-speed approach. Closer, lower. The Growler pilot cut in. Control. He's probing reactions, testing response times. The destroyer's CO came up on the net. He does that again, we won't be guessing his intent. 0640 hours. Red line crossed, the second pass came lower. A deliberate show of dominance. The shockwave slapped the destroyer's superstructure. Radar briefly lost lock. That was enough. The captain's voice was calm, controlled, final. Authorized defensive escalation. 0642 hours. The sky tightens. U.S. fighters fanned out. Disciplined, silent. The Growler's spectrum map bloomed as electronic pressure increased. Subtle, but unmistakable. The Chinese fighter reacted instantly. It climbed hard, then turned back again. A challenge. 0644 hours. Final warning. A transmission went out on emergency frequencies. Chinese military aircraft. You are conducting unsafe and hostile maneuvers near U.S. forces. Alter course immediately. Silence. The jet's nose dipped. The pilot committed. 0646 hours. Decision point. In the CIC, time slowed. Rules of engagement glowed on the screen. The Chinese fighter accelerated into another attack run. Faster than before. The captain didn't raise his voice. Defensive action authorized. 0647 hours. Fire. A U.S. fighter. Rolled. Released a controlled warning burst across the Chinese jet's projected path. Precise, unmistakable, impossible to ignore. The sky flashed. The Chinese fighter broke hard, pulling violent G's, afterburner flaring. It escaped the line of fire, but something had changed. 0648 hours, the unexpected. As the Chinese jet disengaged, multiple alerts triggered at once. New tracks, distant, fast, converging. The radar supervisor swallowed. Sir, additional airborne contacts just lit up. Multiple. Source? Unknown. but they're coming from the west. The captain stared at the expanding picture. That first jet wasn't alone, he said. No, the analyst replied quietly. It was the signal. The Pacific sky looked the same, but the battle space had just expanded, and America was done waiting. 0649 hours, Western Pacific. The radar picture exploded. What had been a single hostile aircraft moments earlier was now a growing constellation of contacts. Fast movers emerging from the west, high altitude, tight formation. Inside the carrier's Combat Information Center, voices overlapped. Multiple tracks, 5, no 6. Speed increasing, supersonic. They're spreading out. The tactical action officer snapped, calm it down, classify and prioritize. The analyst didn't look up. PLA Air Force, mixed formation, fighters and support. The room went cold. 0652 hours. The trap revealed. The captain stared at the screen. So the first jet wasn't reckless, he said. It was bait. The intelligence officer nodded grimly. Classic pressure escalation. One aircraft forces reaction. The rest wait outside sensor focus. The Growler pilot cut in over comms. Control. They're lighting up the spectrum now. Active radar. Data link bursts. They want us to see them. A deliberate shift from intimidation to confrontation. 0655 hours. America tightens the noose. The order came without drama. Expand cap. Bring in the outer ring. From beyond the horizon, additional U.S. fighters, F-35s, and Super Hornets slipped into the battle space. They didn't rush. They positioned high, wide, unseen. The Chinese formation continued forward, aggressive but measured. Fighters fanning outward, one aircraft climbing higher than the rest. The intelligence officer pointed. That one's acting as a sensor node. He's trying to control the fight. The captain's reply was calm, then cut his eyes. 0658 hours. Electronic warfare engaged. The Growler went to work. Not brute force jamming. Precision interference. Chinese radar scopes filled with clutter. False returns, delayed echoes, ghost tracks drifting just enough to sow doubt. Chinese pilots reacted instantly. Their formation tightened, then loosened again. They were compensating, but the advantage was gone. 0702 hours. The first lock. One Chinese fighter surged ahead, accelerating into another high-speed approach, this time toward the outer escort screen. The lead U.S. fighter pilot spoke, voice steady. He's locking. I see it. Missile warning tones chirped briefly, then stopped. The jet wasn't firing. Yet, the captain's eyes never left the display. That's hostile intent, he said. Confirm. The legal advisor nodded. Confirmed. 0704 hours. America unleashes hell. The response was immediate and overwhelming. U.S. fighters lit up the sky, not with missiles, but with presence. They broke stealth deliberately, revealing themselves at once from multiple vectors. Above, behind, flanking, the Chinese formation suddenly found itself bracketed, outnumbered, outpositioned, outthought. The Growler pilot transmitted. Voice ice cold. PLA aircraft. You are surrounded by U.S. forces. Disengage immediately. For the first time, a Chinese pilot responded. Static crackled, then a clipped transmission. U.S. aircraft. We are operating in international airspace. The reply came instantly. So are we. 0707 hours. The standoff. For a long, tense minute, both sides held position. Chinese jets maneuvered nervously. Their formation no longer clean. Sensor fusion struggled under electronic pressure. Command links lagged. U.S. fighters, by contrast, moved with eerie calm, silent coordination, perfect spacing. One American pilot whispered to his wingman, "They know." They did. The Chinese pilots could see it in their threat displays. They were covered, every one of them. 0710 hours. The break. The same Chinese fighter that had initiated the first attack pass twitched forward, as if considering one last move. That was all it took. A U.S. fighter rolled slightly and painted him. A clean, unmistakable fire control lock. No missile launched, no shot fired. But the message was unmistakable. The Chinese pilot broke hard, pulling away. Then another, then all of them. 0713 hours, retreat. The Chinese formation turned west in unison, afterburners flaring as they climbed away from the carrier group. No pursuit, no taunting, just disciplined shadowing until the threat exited the area. Inside the CIC, the tension drained out of the room in a collective exhale. 0718 hours. Silence returns. The Pacific returned to its deceptive calm. Radars normalized. Electronic noise faded. Fighters resumed their patrol orbits. The captain finally relaxed his shoulders. Damage report. No damage, sir. No injuries. No weapons fired beyond warning measures. The captain nodded. Good. Then, after a pause, log everything. Later, the quiet aftermath. Hours later, a classified report circulated through command channels. PLA aircraft conducted deliberate high-speed attack passes near U.S. forces. U.S. forces responded with layered air dominance and electronic control. No shots fired. Full deterrence achieved. No press release followed. No headlines broke. Because the most dangerous moments rarely make the news. Final reflection. The Chinese fighter thought speed would intimidate. That proximity would force restraint. Instead, it revealed something far more important. When pushed, when tested, America does not blink. It surrounds, it controls, and when necessary,